So this is a continuation, part two. My camera turned off. So I was saying, some of the followers of Al Sharpton, because he knows that Ghana's mother, have been attacking me on the subway. They will say no justice, no peace. Some of them work for them too, and they were calling the police on me. And as soon as Ghana became mayor in 2022, I used to ride the E train from Manhattan to Queens just to go to the library, and I was getting attacked in the library. As soon as I go into the library bathroom, some people will come and just create a problem in the bathroom. Said they left their phone in the bathroom before I went in there. I used to use the women's bathroom, and the the security in the like, Queen's Library would say, you're not a real woman. Don't use the women's bathroom. Go and use they have different bathrooms for men, women, and one for disabled, and they're all located in different sections. So it said go and use the disabled bathroom, which is is, um is by itself. The women's bathroom is a couple of stalls. So I'll go to the Queen's Library, and each time I try to use the women's bathroom, the Black American security guard said, "Don't use the women's bathroom. You're not a real woman. You're transsexual. Use the disabled people's bathroom." So I started using the disabled people's bathroom, which was by itself. It's not in the women's bathroom. And then, and they will have some Black Americans come and be banging on the door as soon as I go to the bathroom. So they left their cell phone in the bathroom. I must have stole it. I'll call the police, and the police wouldn't let me file a report. I'm like, how come you didn't leave your cell phone until I went to use the bathroom? They will claim they went into the bathroom before me. And when I come into the library, I try to use the bathroom. Then they'll come and be banging on the door. Say, get out of the bathroom now. And they left their cell phone in the bathroom. I'm like, people are accusing me of stealing their cell phone everywhere. Even there was an incident in Manhattan Park called what's that park called? Pier 25. As soon as Eric Adam became um, mayor, you know, at that time also there was a Spanish woman that was beat up a Black American kid, 12-year-old kid in Manhattan, said he stole her cell phone, and she then discovered she left the cell phone in the Uber. So the people were marching and they got her arrested. She fled to California. So around that time also I went to use the bathroom at the Pier 25, and this Spanish woman came and said she left her cell phone in the bathroom also. I said she think I'm the one that stole it. There's some people that said I'm the one that stole it. Then I called 911 right away. And she was telling me not to call 911. She came with a Black American guy. So I'm like, is this a joke? Because there was a story in the news where a Spanish woman said a Black American boy stole her cell phone. She was beating up the boy. And then she discovered she left the cell phone in the Uber. So anytime I send the bad news in the news, people will also try to reenact it on me and try to get me killed. So I call, and she came with a huge muscular Black American male, and I was trying to get away from them, and they were harassing me as I was waiting for the police to arrive. After I called 911, they asked me not to call the police, and they were harassing me as I was trying to get away from them, and I got on the street and cars almost hit me at the West Side Highway, and the police camera that the street surveillance camera picked it up that these people were harassing me and car almost hit me, and the police refused to file a report. And they told me they were just trying to get me locked up in the psych ward. The police told me because the woman was smiling at the police. I think she might be an undercover police or whatever she was, and she was whispering to the police. And the police told me, she was just making that up. She was just trying to get me locked up. Eric Adams said they should be locking up homeless, and she was just trying to, get me upset so they can lock me up. She was just being mischievous. I said, no, I want her to be arrested, you know, because I know she told me not to call the police also. I said, the police said, no, they're not going to arrest her. They just told me, I could go my way. I said, no, nobody has the right to set me up for Eric Adams. And before that also, some Black American kids attacked me in Brooklyn in December 2021. I was trying to hook my phone up to Simple Mobile, so I was calling the payphone. I was in the payphone near the Atlantic Avenue Net Stadium, and some Black American kids were punching me, kicking me in the leg, and I ran across the street into a store. The store owner called 911, and the police refused to file charges. Even the store owner said he wants charges filed because those kids destroy his store window, broke the window as they were attacking. So I've been getting charmed by Black Americans as soon as Eric Adam won the mayorship. Even when he was borough president, a lot of Black Americans used to attack him in Brooklyn, and I didn't know who was sending them. So it seems, and the police also will attack me, and the police choked me under in 2019 when Trump was president also. you know, and took me to the psych ward, and things is just crazy and crazy and crazier, you know. Then in 2009, 2020, I was criticizing this Como that it wouldn't help me also, that I'm getting attacked by black Americans, and Como was the governor. Then all of a sudden, COVID hit, and Como said he wants every homeless to leave the subway. He didn't give a warning that he was going to shut down everything. And De Blasio, who was also Italian American, was criticizing Como that Como is planning to shut down the whole city, but it's just not telling the truth. And Como would lie to the press that it's not shutting down the whole city. That's just a false report. Because I was homeless on the street, so I assuming Como had announced, like other places, they would give the 2 week notice, 2020, that they were going to shut down. So I would have been able to escape New York, maybe go to a hotel room. I normally stay in New Jersey. But Como didn't announce it was going to shut down the city. All of a sudden, it shut down the city within the 24 hours notice. So I was stuck here in New York, and my ID had been stolen by the police. So I didn't have any ID. Since 2019, the police locked me up in the New York Psychiatric Hospital, New York University Psychiatric Hospital, and stole my ID. So I didn't have any ID. So I couldn't really apply for housing. But as a hotel I go to in Jersey, they already have my ID photocopy. So I could have gone there to hide during the COVID. But Como was lying, it's not going to shut down the city. So I was just stuck in New York. I didn't have an ID, and they shut down the subway, said homeless can't be there at night, and lock up all the bathrooms. So a guy came and lured me so I could come into his house to use the bathroom because I couldn't find a bathroom to use. And when I went to his house, he raped me, and he said he wanted to get married right away. I told him, no, I'm not looking to get married to anyone because I'm expecting money. I'm expecting to sue and get money, and I don't want to marry anybody and take the money from me because I said I just met this guy. I'm not looking for any love or marriage, you know. But he had lured me that I could come use the bathroom in his house because all the bathrooms in the subway stations were closed. Como closed it, so I believe this Como may have sent the guy, and the guy raped me even though I told him I don't want to get married. Raped me and punched me and then kicked me out of the house. I called the police on him. They saw the blood on my face, and they didn't arrest him. You know, and then my storage stole all my property. Even though Cuomo signed a law that you can't evict people from their apartment, but he intentionally left out the storages. He said there was a emergency order, nobody can evict tenants from the apartment, but he didn't mention storage. That you kind of whether storages can evict you from the storage. So during that time, the storage said I owed them money, even though they couldn't. There was a law against indoor gathering. The storage auction of my stuff brought people there to buy my stuff. And I called the police on the American storage on Staten Island. I had storage, American storage on Staten Island, and extra space storage in Harlem. And I called the police, and the police wouldn't help me. I said, "There's an indoor garden. People like gathered to take all my stuff. I have my mother is dead. My mother's daughter killed her in 2015, and all my mother's properties was in my storage. Some of my mother's properties was in my storage." I said, I have a lot of important stuff, and the police said they can't do nothing to help. I said, "It's an indoor gathering. People are gathering indoors." At that time, they said, people can't gather indoors. And a lot of people came to buy my stuff. It was an auction, and the police allowed it to continue. So under that coma, I was getting raped. I was criticizing him. All my property was stolen. And then he resigned months later, said he was also sexually harassing people, allegedly. So I don't feel safe. And today, as I was eating chicken, there was a radio station, WABC radio, that was saying, doo doo and all that stuff. So someone has been snoring. And I've been sitting here snoring, near the Macy. So I've been under FBI surveillance because I was in immigration prison in 2000. The immigration arrested me wrongfully. So I'm trying to sue the immigration also. Because I had a green card. I came into the country with my mother, and they arrested me. Even though I had a green card, my mother was so angry. She went to the Nigerian embassy. The Nigerian embassy refused to help me. I'm a Nigerian being kidnapped by the U.S. immigration. So my mother's daughters killed her finally. So I'm the only one left to fight the case alone. So, I'm trying to sue the immigration. I'm trying to sue the New York police. So I've been getting attacked by some black Americans due to jealousy. And my friend in Uganda was trying to help me, and the police went and beat him dead. I believe it was the FBI that told the police to beat him dead. Because, I was also trying to sue Trump. Uganda was going to help me with those court papers. Because I used to go to Trump's hotel, Taj Mahal, in New Jersey, because after the police took my home in 2010. And the security guard in this hotel would call the police on me that they don't want me in the hotel. Even though I was a I was a registered hotel guest. I used to gamble there. So I recorded everything at the hotel in Atlantic City, and I told I was going to sue Trump. So I came back to New York, and somebody told me to go and stand in front of Trump's house. Said there were people that was going to give homeless people food on Fifth Avenue. So I went and stood in front of Trump's house, and Trump came in his SUV. He was in the back seat. The driver was driving, and the driver tried to run me over on Fifth Avenue. Soon after, Ariana got killed. Then Trump went and boasted that he could hurt somebody on Fifth Avenue and get away with it. I was the one who was trying to run over, and people were telling me that was Trump in the back seat, of the car that tried to run you over. So the FBI surveillance picked it up because since I came to America in 2000, the FBI have been monitoring me because I was in immigration prison. So as soon as you come out of immigration prison, the FBI is monitoring. So now our Sharpton supporters dropped me everywhere because they are mad I'm a Nigerian, and Eric Garner was trying to help me. Our Sharpton was Eric Garner's family, and the police killed Eric Garner instead of me. So I can't believe it. It's unbelievable what I'm going through. Everybody trying to hurt me. My mother's daughter is also joining killing my mother. So anytime some people always get jealous if you're about to get money. So I believe it's just jealousy. Not that I know these people personally. I don't know how sharp it is. Just some people try to mess you up anytime you're about to get money. And I reported Eric Adams to the Brooklyn prosecutor that he was saying some Negroes were trying to remove him from office. That and it was threatening, and was saying are they out of their mind, thinking he can be removed from office. His godfather Trump is going to help him. He was making a speech like that, and Trump said his case should be dismissed, that it's not going anywhere, and the judge dismissed his case. So now Eric Adams announced the police is going to be arresting homeless and putting us in psych ward. So anywhere I go, so there are black Americans that are calling the police on me. Even at the Penn Station, if I try to use the bathroom there, and this is how Sharpton also said that he calls the Negro. That he also uses the word Negro on other people, and he says if anybody tries to do anything and doesn't include them, that they know how to turn the table upside down. So there are groups of black Americans that try to attack me in the subway. And also, when Eric Adams became mayor, I went and got on the E train in Manhattan, and a fat-looking black American male said, "You're going to get beat up." You look like Eric Garner. So I brought out my phone and I recorded. I said, "This fat-looking black American male said I'm going to get beat up." He was on the E train station at World Trade Center. I said, "I don't understand." He looked like Eric Garner. And anytime I got on the E train to go to the Queens Library, the police will remove me from the train. Say you have a lot of stuff. You're not welcome at here. And they'll just try to get me angry so they can beat me to death on the. I said, why are they targeting me? So that day I finally got on the E train. I finally got to Queens, and then I saw somebody that looked like Eric Garner's mother in Queens, near the Jamaica Queens E train last stop, near the what's it called? Near the theater. I saw her there. She had that braids. She's the only one that wear braids to the front. You know, she has a way of styling her hair. So and that was how I knew it was her. And all the police camera they would pick her up because there was a lot of police camera in that area, and she's the only one that wear a brace to the front. You know, it's an old style she does. Nobody does that anymore. So that's how you know she's her. So so I went to the library that day, and in the library, some black Americans were trying to jump in the library. They were saying, they left their phone in the bathroom. I stole it, and I called 911. The police wouldn't do a report. So I was like, what is going on? I'm getting jumped by black Americans everywhere. It's like and they will get me angry, and I'll call the police, and the police was also joining, trying to get me killed. As soon as Ricardo became mayor, I didn't know what was going on. So on this particular day, a black American male that looks like Eric Garner, and this police camera on the subway picked it up, and he was just blocking my way in the subway. I said, "You're gonna get beat up," So I swiped my card and I brought my phone out. I said, black American male that looks like Eric Garner is threatening me in the subway, so I'm going to get beat up. I said, I don't understand why a lot of black Americans are trying to jump me. So I got on the E train, I went to Queens. Then I got off at Jamaica, and then I saw a lady that looks like Eric Garner's mother. She's the only one that wear that kind of braid. So the police camera that was spotted that she was the one. But I didn't really say nothing to her because I didn't know, I wasn't sure if it was her or not. So I just, because I was really mad because a black American told me I was going to get beat up. So I was really mad because there was a lot of black Americans that jumped in that area. So I was really mad, so I didn't even say nothing to her. So I walked past her. So I went to the library. So I got off the library and I walked back to Queens. So, and, so there was, so I went to the Gap store because my clothes was tearing. And there were some black Americans that were stealing all my belongings. So my jeans was tearing. So I went into the Gap store to buy jeans, you know. But the Gap store told me I have to get out of the store immediately. After I bought the jeans, I can't change in the store. They said, they were closing in an hour, 30 minutes time. I said, that's enough time for me to go into the dressing room to change. I said, no, 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 get out. So I got out of the Gap store with the jeans with a bag of jeans in my hand. So I tied it to my car. Then as soon as I walked past the theater, some black American came and punched me in my stomach, hit me with a chair. You know, that same day I saw the Rihanna mother earlier in that area, and a black American guy said I was going to get beat up. So and there, there's a police camera that was recording the incident. That police camera was in front of the Social Security office. There was a federal building. And so that police camera recorded. I called 911. And then the police didn't want to take a report. They were just making fun of me. As I was waiting for, as soon as the police arrived, a Spanish woman came. Said she wants to sit in the police car. She wants to charge her phone. And the police was talking with her and they were all laughing. I told the police, this is not funny. I said, I just got beat up. A black American punched me in the stomach, and I'm trying to file a report. And this Spanish woman came and said she wants to sit in the back seat of the police car and she wants to charge her phone. And the police was laughing with her, and they didn't take a police report. So they were just trying to get me angry on purpose so I could get angry so the police can arrest me. You know, so now this Al Sharpton has threatened that he also calls people Negroes, and he says if anybody tries to do anything against his people, he's going to turn the table upside down. You know, so the program prosecutor in Spanish, his name is Gonzalez. So I don't know if that's a threat. I wrote an email to the Brooklyn prosecutor on Friday, and on Saturday, Ash Sharpton said on his show on WBLS, a black radio station, that if anybody tries to do anything to his people, he's going to turn the table around. So I don't know if that's a death threat to kill me, so that I won't be available anymore to testify. But I'm getting some of black Americans in the bathroom at the Penn Station, the black American workers there. It's only allowing black Americans homeless to use the bathroom. It allows them to stay there for hours. But as soon as I go in there, they will tell me they want to close the bathroom and I have to go. So I believe they're discriminated against me because I'm not black American. In the Penn Station bathroom, also at the Port Authority bathroom, you know. So this is what is going on. So I believe this WABC radio may know we know about it. So they just are just making fun of the situation. So anytime I listen to the radio, they start talking about, that somebody's unsafe or whatever, you know. So I don't know if they're just if they don't know how to approach the situation because they don't want to be sued for slander. So maybe they're just waiting for me to be killed first, and that's not right. You know, people have to report things as they're happening and don't be afraid of slander. So I'm really experiencing this threat. So as soon as I came down to sit down here, so this guy, his name is Lionel, he's a Spanish male, but he works for the BBC radio. So we're saying, bathroom, he was saying doo-doo, doo-doo. So anytime I eat chicken, I always feel like using the bathroom. So and I always go there to use the bathroom and so black Americans people be jumping in the bathroom. So I believe that's why he was talking on the radio. He was saying doo-doo, chicken, doo-doo, So like I was trying to stop me from eating the chicken, but I was so hungry I've been eating the chicken. So anytime I eat chicken, I have diarrhea issues. So anytime I eat chicken, I feel like using the bathroom immediately. Some black Americans will try to jump me at the Penn Station. So in case I get killed in the bathroom, you know, so I hope the authorities, this is my diarrhea pill, I normally use, so they know it's intentional, you know, 'cause, I've been going through so much stress as a Nigerian, I was arrested by U.S. immigration. I'm trying to sue them because I had a green card stamp in my passport. Also, and in 2000, and my mother tried to get me justice. Now Adros have killed her, but the Nigerian embassy wouldn't help me. I've also reached out to the Nigerian embassy that my mother has been killed by Doris. I'm getting jumped by Black Americans. And the Nigerian embassy promised to help me, and they refused to help me. I started hanging up the phone on me after I called them. They told me they were going to help me. So I'm just on my own, and I'm not really safe in Nigeria because I'm gay, and they don't like Nigerians there. And a lot of the Black Americans don't like me in America either, so I'm just stuck. I'm just stuck on the street, and the police took my home. A Black American friend of Eric Adam, Eric Garner. The police went and beat him dead, and say Eric Adam knows Eric Garner. So it's like he's trying to get me killed also. He's been saying he doesn't want outsiders in New York, that, and was making reference to the things I used to say when the police would attack me. So it seems he was the one calling the police to attack me in the bathroom. So when the police attacked me, I would say, a Nigerian became mayor in Ohio, and I said, immigrants are getting driver's licenses in Iowa. And I said, no, New York needs to respect immigrants also. I used to say that in Brooklyn a lot. So this Eric Adam went to Harlem on Martin Luther King Day. My mother's birthday is like Martin Luther King Day. Like it was referencing my mother. January 20th is my mother's birthday. She's now dead. And it was saying, we don't have to tolerate you outsiders. You go back to Ohio. You go back to Iowa. You know, and this Eric Adams said his new name is Esther. My mother's name is Esther. So he's been making speeches like it's insulting me, but there's no. I'm the only one that understand what he's saying, and he's making it to the press, but nobody's really helping me, and they just treat him like I'm crazy, and So I wrote to the Brooklyn prosecutor that enough is enough. They have to arrest this Eric Adams. His name is Gonzalez. So this Al Sharpton said, if anybody go against his people, because Eric Adam is also a Sharpton follower, he goes to the National Action Network office all the time. He's his mentor. So he said if anybody arrests his people, that they're going to turn the table upside down. So I don't know if that is a death threat to kill me, so the case will go nowhere. So I'm being joined by Black Americans also. So I'm a Nigerian, I'm gay, I'm a transsexual, so I'm just stuck. So I just don't know which approach for help. So, but it's like this WABC radio know what is happening. And they're not helping me. They're just like making fun of the situation, or whether they're just afraid of being sued for slander. you know so I'm also under FBI surveillance, so I believe some of the FBI agents also work for WABC radio, because one of the hosts, Curtis Slaver, they said he used to have problem with mafia people attacking him because he used to criticize the mafia on WABC radio. So they have FBI agents that work as security guard for WABC radio. So I believe they may be snitching to them. They maybe have been getting the FBI may already be aware that some Black Americans are trying to kill me. And instead of helping me, the FBI is not helping me. They're just laying low. So the WABC radio is talking about it on the radio, but it's not saying it directly. It's just hinting. Because I'm under FBI surveillance also. Any immigrant that goes to immigration prison, so they just, playing with my life like I'm just an animal. So the FIFA need to be aware America is not safe for immigrants, especially Africans. They're not helping us for security reason, because they said New York is about to host the World Cup next year, the FIFA World Cup, And this Trump is saying any immigrant that dare talks about America, bad America is going to get deported. But, but I have to report all this stuff. So I always record all this stuff and post it on YouTube. So this is what I'm going through. My mother was killed here. She was a U.S. citizen. Daughters here were killed her. Lied on her that she was crazy. In Bellevue, she was having a heart attack, and she went to Bellevue around this area. Bellevue's in my hand here, and the daughters came all the way from Pennsylvania to lie on her that she was crazy, that she locked her up. And my mother died of shock. The daughters did it to me in 2000 also. My mother, because my mother was homeless after I got out of immigration prison. It's like I have bad luck or something. So my mother says it's not really bad luck. Like, I must have a big destiny. So when you have a big destiny, you're gonna have a lot of haters. You know. So as soon as I got out of immigration prison, I went to my mother's apartment on Staten Island, and the landlord evicted us. So we were staying in a hotel. So my mother tricked me because she was tired of paying for the hotel, you know. So she tricked me to follow her to Pennsylvania. So we got on the bus. She said she has something to do. I told her, no, I don't want to go to Pennsylvania. I don't want to stay with your daughters. She's like, no, just follow me. So she told me she has something to do in Pennsylvania. We're going to come back together, me and her. So I followed her to Pennsylvania. So address are very violent, So as soon as I got there, so they put my mother back in the car and were driving my mother. So I got in the car also. They told me, no, get off the car. As soon as I got out, they hit me with a car on 636th Street, Industry Street. So a lot of the people in Pennsylvania were so shocked that, when they saw what's happened, they hit me with a car and they called the police on me. That I was the one attacking them, and they told the police to arrest me. You know, so the police arrested me and took me to the psych ward. So people were gathered watching on 636th Street, Industry Street, 636 Industry Street, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So they didn't know what was happening. They thought it was a movie. You know. So they drove my mother back to New York, drove her to the Flora and Bolani. That's my mother's daughter's thing. Drove her to the Greyhound station. So they held me hostage, locked me up in a psychiatric hospital. So I told the hospital that I have an immigration case in New York. The immigration said, they have to deport me. That I don't have a green card. So I have that case in New York. So I have to go back to New York. You know, and so the psychiatric hospital Mercy called my mother's daughters and said, is it true that, you're lying on this person? This person isn't crazy. This person's trying to go back to New York. So my mother's daughter said, no, I'm really crazy. I don't have an immigration case. So I called my lawyer to call from New York. His name is DiPietro. So he called the psychiatric hospital in Pennsylvania and said, that I'm not crazy. I do have a case. I need to return back to New York. They have to release me. So the hospital apologized. Said, we're so sorry. We didn't know your mother's daughter were lying against you. And they released me. They didn't arrest them. So the hospital owes me money. So they released me. So I didn't know nobody. So I went back to my mother's daughter's house. And, from there, I came, I got on the bus and came back to New York by myself. So, but the hospital, they owe me money because I was in the hospital for many days, you know, and they didn't help me arrest my mother's daughters. 14 years later, my mother's daughters came to New York, did the same thing to my mother. As she was in the hospital, they said she was crazy. They have to lock her. Even though my mother wasn't crazy, my mother fell down and died of a heart attack. The daughters would do the same thing to her. You know, so I'm owed money everywhere, but people are just trying to kill me everywhere. I can't get a lawyer. So my life is like a movie. It's like a movie, and nobody would help me. The FBI doesn't want to help me because they feel I'm going to get the money as a Nigerian. They don't want me to get money. Eric Garner was trying to help me. The police went and choke him dead. So my life is like a movie. Just, so I'm even tired of crying. So I just hide under the blanket. But the world is so cold to Africans, and this needs to stop. So the international community, you have to march for me. And this Trump has been deporting immigrants. I have beef with him also. I'm trying to get him arrested. And just like he's trying to remove him from the country also. You know. So this is what I'm going through. So I'm being jumped by everybody. There's a black American rapper also that's rap say, get out of New York, you're not welcome anymore. Go back to Pierre or something. It's like she's referencing me on my situation, I'm gonna get killed. Say you punk, you soft, you can't fight back. They play that song on Power 1051. She's a drill rapper. She's based in Pennsylvania. You know, so there are rappers also rapping against me. I believe they're just jealous, and they don't want me to remain in America and get money. So the Al Sharpton also seems to have joined in. So it's a mess. So this is what it's going on.